Long way, get this shit a long way, this shit a long way. Long way, hit it long way, 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 shit long way, 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 shit a long way. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a long way, finish rich, yeah. Gotta get the shit a long way, get the shit a know she don't really understand, man. Gotta know what she don't really understand, man. Gotta get a meal, she don't understand, she be trippin' every day, she be trippin' every way. But I gotta get this shit a long way, tryna get money every single way, tryna get money every single day, get money every single way, every day. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. Every day we gotta get paid, yeah. I'm feeling like we be the new slaves, yeah. No, we gotta finish rich, no, we gotta finish rich. Got a new bitch, she don't understand rich. She don't understand, niggas gotta get rich. She don't understand, sometimes we got hit lit. No, we ain't hit lit, tryna get the long way, yeah. Tryna get the shit the long way, yeah. Cause you tryna wrap up a entree. Yeah, told you the other day that did my phone strong. We gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Yeah, get the shit the long way. My bitch be trippin' back and forth like a pong way. My name is Tori, I ain't playing games, so I'm done Tori. Yesterday she told me that she about to leave, man. I said, fuck it, bitch, we gonna get some money. I said, fuck it, bitch, I'm about to get some money. So what I do today, I work to get some money, yeah. We gon' get the shit the long way, long way, we gon' get the long way, yeah. Back and forth like the pong way, yeah. And I'ma get the shit the long way, get the shit the long way. Just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy. We gotta wear an ass, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day. We be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, for yeah. So we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, yeah, we get shit the long way, yeah, cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, yeah, we gon' get the long way, yeah.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. I'm your host, LJ Young, the founder of SMD. And I'm here to motivate and inspire you guys. That's what I'm here to do. Here to help you see what life is truly supposed to be like. That's what I'm here for. All right. And I'm here to first tell you the first step is to own yourself. You have to. Okay. That's step number one. You must own yourself. Okay. I'm here today because I was once a debt slave. Debt slaves live in the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a psychological place. It's not a physical place. It's a psychological place. It's a place where debt slaves live. And who are debt slaves? Debt slaves are people that believe they can buy things with no money, believe they can own houses with mortgages, think they can buy cars with car loans. Those are called debt slaves. Now, even though I say this out loud, they can't hear me because they believe that's normal to finance phones and cars and houses and believe you own it. All right. So they can't hear a word I'm saying. So it doesn't matter if I say it out loud. Now, you're probably thinking, well, now, aren't you going against the system and this and that? No, I'm not. Okay. To even make a dent in what's going on, which I do not even want to make a dent, but to even make a dent, it would take me 16 lifetimes to even make a dent. Which I don't want, because you know what's so wonderful about this system? There's two sides. Debt slaves, you guys don't know, there's two sides. There's a positive side and there's a negative side. You guys are on the negative side. That's why it's not working for you, because money is positive or negative. It's not the same. It's positive or negative. So if you're on the negative side, guess what? You're pushing money away from you. When you're on the positive side, you're drawing it to you. That's how it works. But first, you must be positive. You must be positive personally, the business of you. That's what I'm here to share. I'm here to share. I can see myself rebranding or transitioning or something, but what it really is that I discovered that we do have a sixth sense. We do. That this is true. Now, when you hear me say sixth sense, I want you guys to understand it's both psychological and physical. So the way I spell it is SIXTHCENTS, sixth sense. So when you hear the word sixth sense, you're going to immediately think psychological. Oh, he's talking about that movie or whatever. And then when you read the word, how it's spelled, then you're going to know it's physical too at the same time. See how that works? That's why I love it. This is a gift. This is what I do. I'm here to share this gift with you because it not only does it change your life financially, it changes your whole entire life to the positive. Sure does. Changes it 100% positive. Once you understand this gift, once you understand that sixth sense exists, everything instantly changes. Everything. You now realize you own yourself now. You own yourself. Right. What's up, Robert? Reigning woman. Once this happens, and then you turn around, see how it really works, which means you guys are the you debt slaves, you guys are the currency. None of this works without you. Paper money is just paper. When you can see, you just go to the government's website and they say, hey, we print $100 for 17 cents. When you read that, what does that say to you? I mean, think about it. I want you to go to their website where this information is openly and anybody can go see it. They print $100 bill for 17 cents. So when you see that, what goes through your brain when you see that? Wait a minute. Is it worth 100 or 17 cents? I don't know. Which one is it, debt slave? Because you're the only one confused about it. They're crystal clear to me. 17 cents. So that means that paper is psychological. Yes, it's psychological. Obviously, Linnell, look. This information ain't hidden. You're just on the wrong side of it. That's the problem. Like when I was in debt and blaming taxes and my mayor and the governor and all this other stupid nonsense, you know what I didn't do? I didn't look in the mirror and say, do I own myself? Well, I didn't know to ask myself that question at the time, but I know for a fact it was me. Once you own yourself, and then you hear the opinions of people that do not own themselves, it doesn't matter what they say. The majority of people that tell you that you can't do something, like, oh, you shouldn't try it, this and that, and this will happen, and this, and they're only displaying their fears to you. You don't have to listen to that. If somebody says they will never be able to afford to buy a nice car in cash, they're just telling you about themselves and what they cannot do. Now, if you get sucked into that, which is all debt slave, that's all debt slave stuff, okay? If you get sucked into that, believing all of that, now you're in it because you don't know who you were listening to. You were listening to other debt slaves that tell you you can't do something when it's not true. They're just telling you about themselves. Now that I understand that money is just paper, I don't even want to think about money. I don't even want, I get to the point I don't want to think about money at all, ever. It's so lovely not to hardly think about it. It's beautiful to not think about money all the damn time. You know how much space in your brain? Well, you'll never know, debt slaves, because you guys are trained to always think about grind for the bag, get that bag, think about money, think about money. You know how much space it occupies in your brain? You don't know that. If you've been thinking about money every day of your life, you don't know what. I guarantee you this: you never once have said to yourself, "What would it feel like to never think about money?" Because you're trained to always think about it. You know that's not true. You don't have to be always after money 24 hours a day. That is not true. Okay. You don't have to do that. You know, that's a lot of space being occupied in your brain where you could be using that for other things. You think Warren Buffett and Elon Musk, you think they sit around thinking about money all the time? I guarantee you they don't even think about it. Not the same way you do, because you guys are the currency. I guarantee you those guys know. Listen, they know you are the currency. They do know that. That's why you don't think about money, because it's not the money, it's not the paper, it's you. Now listen to my voice, okay? I want you guys to really listen. It's only a matter of time. Do you understand me? It's only a matter of time before the world knows SMD. It's only a matter of time. Now, as you guys listen to my voice, just think about him. He doesn't sound like it definitely doesn't sound like he's unsure of himself. How would he possibly know that? Because everything I'm saying, this I'm gonna tell you how I know, okay? Because everything I'm saying is mathematically true. So it is true. Do you understand me? That's how I know. I had to This wasn't just given to me. I had to earn it. I had to earn the understanding of this. Do you understand me? I had to earn it. How did I do that? By owning myself first. I had to pay for myself. You don't get to just come into the game the correct way without passing step number 1. You gotta own yourself first. What are you talking about? You think you're gonna be successful in business? When I say successful, I'm talking about like Walmart, Amazon successful. I'm not talking about all the debt slaves that own business, that believe they own businesses, but the businesses own you. If you don't own the business of yourself and then you go open a business, you don't own nothing, not even yourself. The two businesses own you. You don't own anything. Step number 1, you gotta own yourself. First, the hardest step is this. First, you gotta know that you don't own yourself. This is why this knowledge is a privilege, because here, let me give you an example. Say like you've been in your house like 15 years. For you to accept, after all those monthly payments, for you to actually accept that you know you're not a homeowner and walk away from it, you know how hard that is? Most people won't accept that. Most people listening to me now, they're in houses right now, know they're up to their eyeballs in debt, barely hanging on. As soon as those student loan debt payments kick back in, it's gonna tip you right over. Boom. There's gonna be so many houses available as soon as those student loan payments start again. Because most of you guys went out and financed new cars, phones, everything, just got deeper and deeper in debt. And this is just gonna tip you over, and bam, open market cars and houses gonna be instantly available. And if this is happening to you, or this is listen, the majority of it, what I just said, for the majority of it, it's going to happen to you. That's guaranteed. It's gonna happen. You're probably thinking, "How is he telling the future? How is he look?" No, I'm just talking about today. You're in debt today. It's you. I'm looking at today. I'm not forecasting the future or nothing like that. I'm just telling you today. You're in a negative right now, today. Okay. Today. I don't need to know about tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You are in debt today. It's you. Okay. All it takes is an added payment that you're about to have in January, starting in January. It's going to tip you guys over. It's only a matter of time. Do you understand me? Only a matter of time. But another most people, hey, Lil, again, you're going against the system. No, I'm not. I want to make sure that's clear. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you, there's two sides of it. There's a positive side and a negative side. You guys are on the negative side. That's bad. That means you're pushing money away from you. That's what negative means. You know how when you take two little magnets and you try to push them together, right? And they just will not push together. They will slip to the side, and there's nothing in between them. There's nothing there. You can't see nothing. You can't push the two. Listen, there's you can't put the two magnets together. But if somebody was standing in front of you with a pen or something, you say, "Hey, man, roll that pen right through the two magnet. It'll pass right through." But the two magnets, it's like that. You can't see what's keeping them apart, but you can sure feel it. That's what I mean. So you guys don't know that. Here's an example. The majority of debt slaves believe it's okay to have two mortgages on one house. You guys believe that's normal. And then you will take that money and use it as a down payment on a rental property, believing you're earning cash flow. The only thing you have is three mortgages. That's all you have. You're earning nothing. There's no cash flow in that. Nothing. But being on the positive side of it, I understand that's how it must be. You guys must believe that. I get it. Totally understand it. I don't care what the banks do. I don't care what the IRS does. I don't care. That's part. Hey, it is what it is. I was born here. That I was already. Put it this way: everything, everything you guys are in right now has been in place for centuries. Okay, I'm just here to tell you that. Okay, centuries, centuries. It's been here. I was just on the wrong side of it. That's it. Nothing more than that. Like doing let me give you another example. Crossing over from being a W-2 worker to a business owner, those are difficult steps because it's twofold, right? When you're in the debt matrix, you're trained to be fearful of the IRS and taxes and doing this wrong, and then you can go to jail for tax. All you got to do is follow the rules, and then you won't have to worry about any of that. Just follow the rules. That's it. That's it. If you're driving down the street, listen, if you're driving down the street and the speed limit is 35 and you set your cruise control at 35, are you worried about the police? No, because you're going 35. So why are you won't even be thinking about the police because what? You're following the laws. It's the same thing. Once you do the crossover, I'm gonna just here. Let me tell you. First step number one: own yourself first. That's step number one. Okay, that's step number one. Own yourself first. That's what I'm here for. When you're ready, come see me. I'll accelerate you to the process, and then once you're there, you're gonna know. Once you own yourself and own the time in your life, you're gonna realize the only way you can own the time in your life 100%. You have to own a business, a successful business that serves people. Because as long as you have a job, you can't own the time of your life because you're selling 40 to 50, 60 hours of it a week. So that's not mathematically true. You can't do that. I'm gonna help you accelerate the process. When you get ready to cross over from W-2, and this is for tax reasons. When you get ready to cross over from W-2 to a business owner, go hire a professional who is personally debt free. This is key. Okay. When you go hire a professional that understands business licenses and all this other stuff, along with taxes. You go see them, but they must be personally debt free. You tell them I sent you because they will know something about the tax system that their peers do not that are in debt. They won't know. Whatever they're charging, because usually people that know, they know their worth. So they're going to charge a high price. You pay it. Those people will make sure all your tax stuff is correctly, properly filed under the proper categories at the exact, they'll tell you exactly what to do and you do it. Because once you cross over, create a successful business, serve people the correct way, realize that your customers are the only way you're surviving is because your customers, so you treat them with respect. After that, all your taxes are paid by your business. You're no longer paying your own taxes personally. Your business is paying them, paying your taxes for you. Why? Because you're following the rules. That's why. There's so many people doing it wrong, purposely, not purposely, tax evasion, blah, blah, blah. You know how easy it is to see a person that's properly filing their taxes? That's easy to see because there's not many people that do it. I'm sure IRS agents get practice at scamming all day, every day. You guys are the only ones think you guys are doing something different. You guys are the only ones that can't see what you're doing. You guys are. It's not really hard to see. It's not because you guys all do the same thing, but just a slightly different way, better, worse, whatever. It's still the same. Like I'm sure there's people out there doing tax evasion right now thinking they're so slick and this and that. No, you're not. They just haven't gotten to you yet. Who knows the order? I can only imagine. I'm thinking like just thinking out loud. If I was with okay, I know the put it this way. If I was an IRS agent and I know the majority of people are either fucking up accidentally, cheating on purposely, but you guys all do the same shit. What kind of order would you go after these people? It's like, okay, I know you get the big fish, the loud ones that try to just totally disrespect the system. But then you have to go through the small ones because people that are small that don't make a lot of money and cheat, they think they're okay because they're not making millions of dollars. So I don't, I can only imagine what order it must go in because you got to let everybody know that they can't do that. So that's a lot. That's that sounds like a lot of work. That's a job I wouldn't want to do, honestly. I wouldn't want to do that all day, every day. Hey, did you get the letter? No, no, I moved. I did this and that. Oh, you didn't get the letter. Okay. Well, it's just- oh man. And you know what's so crazy? I honestly, this is what I think about now, okay? Because you guys don't know debt slaves, all right? Now all these delivery jobs would make which makes you guys all 1099s now. With being in debt, already hating taxes, I guarantee you 90% of you guys are not paying your taxes. I can't see the majority of people that do those jobs putting aside, 5, 10, 15% on the side, knowing that they got to pay their taxes. I know you guys are not doing it. And then you guys do it for years. You adjust your life to not paying taxes. And man, I believe that's why they hired so many 87,000 IRS agents because a lot of you guys are doing that. I know you guys are. Because you hear people all the time, hey man, let me just do this quick gig, man, so I can get some money to do this and that. You're spending 100% of that money. Believe that. And what's so crazy, you better believe Uber's filing everything. Do you guys understand me? Uber's filing everything. Uber's not gonna ruin their Uber or any kind of delivery company, they're not gonna ruin their reputation just for taxes. They're not doing that. They no. No different than when you guys check that box at work. Hey, exempt me from taxes on your W-4 or whatever that thing is, W-2, W-4. And then you guys just leave it checked. You better believe your job is reporting that to the IRS. Do you understand me? Then you go on to Cash Apps and Cash App things. You guys think it's just anonymous. No, it's not. Who owns the company of Cash App? You think they're not reporting it? Yes, they are. That's the law. Mm. That's why they got 87,000 IRS agents. Man, they got a lot of. I don't even think that's enough, honestly. I don't even think 87,000 is enough. I think they probably should hire like 200,000 because they got a lot of work. Because you guys don't really understand the change of what just happened from 2000 till now. Like 2000, anything before 2020 is gone forever. Okay, this is the new way of doing things now. This is the new way. Like, so you guys know the significance. Okay, so you guys know. Look what it took to stop student loan debt payments. The world had to stop for that to happen. Guess what? That's never going to happen again in any of our lifetimes, okay? Even if you're in your even if you're a teenager right now listening to listen to this podcast, video, whatever, right? You will never live long enough to see that happen again. I promise. That's the significance of it. At first, I couldn't figure. I was like, "Why are all these available jobs here? This doesn't make any sense." Because as debt slaves, I know you guys got to work. I was just so confused. I'm like, "Why are they?" Because I don't look at the economy the same way you guys do. I know you have to work, period. But there were so many available jobs at stores. I was thinking, this is not making any sense. And then then Andre brought it to my attention. He's like, "Yeah, all these 1099 jobs, delivery jobs. They don't have to have traditional jobs anymore. They kind of like when you're a desk slave with a delivery job, you kind of feel like your own boss, but you're not. You're not your own boss. You think you are, but you're not. And then when you're in debt, because most of you guys, when you had traditional jobs, just like me, I used to do this too. I used to get my check, and then I see the gross amount compared to my net amount. I used to look at that and be like, damn, how can I get ahead if they keep taking all those taxes out of my check? That's what I used to say to myself. Sure did. Sure did. It wasn't the taxes being taken out of my check. It was the interest being taken out of my check by all the shit that I was financing houses, cars, credit cards. That was taking money away from my check, not the taxes. I was doing it. It's so crazy. Sometimes I think back like this. I had what I had 50,000 student loan debt, something like that. Some dumb if you add up all the interest and all that. But I kept it for 10 years. Anyway, my point is this. Here I am making six figure. I kept my student loan debt for 10 years, right? I have been making I have been making six figures for about 6 or 7 years at that particular time in my life. And before that, I was making high five figures. Now, if I add up my gross amount of money compared to my look, and $50,000 of student loan debt for 10 years. There's absolutely no excuse why I shouldn't have had that paid off. Absolutely none. The math says it. It's like, what are you doing? The math says, what are you doing? let's just say 7 years. That's 700,000. If I was making 700,000, I had $50,000 in student loan debt, and I kept it for the 10 years. That makes absolutely no sense. None. That's all the person has to do. This, if you really want to see, if you really want to see what you've done to yourself, add up your salary for look how many years that you have had your student loan debt. Let's say like it's 15 years. Okay. Add up your salary for 15 years. Okay. Add up your gross salary for 15 years. If you really want to see what you've done to yourself, do that. See how much you've made, and then turn around and look at your student loan debt amount. Then say to yourself, how did that happen? I don't know. How did that happen? You clearly had plenty enough money to pay it off years ago, years, but you didn't. Why not? What's up, on Monique, Kang, Antoine, Gabriel, Nick, Measy? I'm just here to tell you, there's two sides. There's a positive side and a negative side to capitalism. The negative side is physical. The positive side is psychological. That's what it is. Debt slaves, you guys are on the negative side of it. All you got to do is just listen. Log into your online credit report, right? Scroll down past the credit score. There's going to be a large negative. There's going to be a large number down there. Put a negative sign in front of it. That's how deep you are in the negative. That's right there. You cannot earn positive until you get out of that negative. They taught us all this in elementary school. They did. I remember. I think that's why I still remember her name. Her name was Miss Klingensmith. Listen, this was what's crazy. This is what's absolutely crazy to me. Out of all my teachers in grade school, this is many, many years ago. I'm 52 today. The only teacher's name I remember is hers, Mrs. Klingensmith. I remember her. She was my math teacher. The only name I remember. Now I understand why, because she was teaching me a very valuable lesson, and she was teaching me math with money. She sure was. I still remember that. We all, hey, add the dollar. What's that? $1.10? Okay, take it away. It's 90 cents. Okay, whatever, right? That's how it worked. Now, if I just had somebody there in my life to say, and I'm not using this as an excuse, it would have been sooner, but if I had somebody in my life to say, "Hey, you see what you remember what you was taught in elementary school? Yeah, you always apply that. When you become an adult, you do the same thing and you'll be wealthy for the rest of your life." Sure will. Little things I remember as a kid. I remember seeing somebody showing me, I was 10 or something. Somebody showed me $100 bill. I was like, wow. And then there was a voice there was a thought in my head that said, who prints this? Who makes this? Hmm. As a kid, I used to say, somebody print who, then I said to myself, well, who prints this? Because they must be very important. Then as you get older, that you're told you better not copy this or you're gonna go to prison. You mean I go to prison if I copy this piece of paper? Yeah. I said that must be a pretty important piece of paper. That's what I thought to myself as a kid. I was like, wow. That is crazy. And it's not in books. It's nobody you can ask around, hey, why is this paper so important? You don't even know. And then as you get older, you're like, wait a minute. This piece of paper is the most important piece of paper in the fucking world? This is how I'm thinking. This piece of paper is the most important piece of paper in the world. How does that happen? We barely can agree here in the United States, arguing over the dumbest shit. Think how hard that must have been. Hey, everybody, yeah, in the world, yeah, this piece of paper is the most important piece of paper. Well, we're in our own country. So what? We said it's the most. Hey, what's that take? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know. I said, okay, I won't be doing that. I won't be copying that paper. I won't be doing none of that. Because anything, what you debt slaves, you guys don't know because once you own yourself, you understand time is the most valuable thing on earth. And you won't risk it, waste it. You won't do any of that. None of that. Definitely not for pieces of paper, not for green pieces of paper. Just think, imagine you do some kind of drug deal, and it's $100, but in the state you live, you get 10 years for doing that drug deal for $100 bill. Hey, you're under arrest. This is a marked $100 bill, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to the government's website to see how much they printed that $100 bills for. And you see that at 17 cents, you're going to be like, what the? I'm in prison for 10 years over 17 cents? Yes, you are. Yes. Yes, you are. Instead of taking a step back and say, why is that law so severe? That's all you gotta do is take a step back and look at it like, why is that so severe? Because that's an important piece of the puzzle. That should tell you that. Tax evasion, anything to do with taxes, that's important. You guys don't really understand that, but it is. Got it. Understood. Won't be messing with even when I was a debt slave, I still didn't play with that. I just didn't. I just none of that tax stuff. I used to always, and I didn't know nothing about it, but I just said, I'm just gonna make sure my taxes are straight. I'm not gonna be trying to cheat on it or nothing. I'm just do what I do it, take it to a tax person that knows the tax business, whatever. I never really went to like personal people because even when I was in the debt majors, I used to always find it weird that a person did not have to be licensed to do your taxes. I used to always thought that was weird to me. I was like, damn, anybody can just grab some software and they can do your taxes for you. I was like, that's weird. Nah, I'm not doing that. This person over here can get you so much money. I was like, nah, I'm just gonna go to a credible business. That's all. That's what I'm, and I always did that, or credible licensed person of something. That's what I just did. I'm sure, like when you understand how it works, cheaters are really easy to see. You guys just don't know you are. It's almost like fishing in a barrel too, man. The younger you are, the worse it is. Because you really don't, when you're young, you really don't understand how taxes work. Really don't. And most of you are being taught by people that are older than you also don't know how they work. Hold on for a second. But you guys don't know that. You don't know that they're doing because they don't know. These are people that love you, but they just don't know. Most of the people that are teaching you this kind of stuff, they're not doing it on purpose. They're just doing it because they don't know. They believe in credit scores. You can't buy a house without good credit. You believe you can buy a house with a mortgage. You believe people that believe they own they can have a mortgage. They own the equity in a mortgaged house. You can't own the equity in a mortgaged house. That's 100% mathematically impossible. You can't do that. But yet millions believe they do. You'll grow up, and now if you have somebody older than you that are telling you that stuff, they can't. They're telling you something that's not mathematically true. You can't. Even when even when I was in the debt matrix and got a mortgage and did all the stuff that I was supposed to do, I used to always say to myself, if it's my equity, why am I borrowing it? That's what I used to say to myself. Hey, this is your equity. If it is, why am I borrowing it at a percentage rate, an interest rate? That never made any sense to me. Now that I understand how it works, now it totally makes sense to me because it's not mine. If I didn't even have the money to buy the house, how am I going to own the equity in a house that I didn't have the money to buy? That's impossible. You can't do that. But yet millions believe they do. That will be you. You'll be part of what's called the average. The average is made up of millions upon millions of debt slaves making the same financial decisions as one. That's what the average are. So when you hear the average car payment, the average student loan payment, the average that's all the debt slaves, and they just got to average it out. They just take all you guys, divide it by how many you are, and then they come up with the average. That's it. But when you're part of the average, you don't know that you have a choice to not be part of the average. I'm not part of the average. That's not has nothing to it has nothing to do with me. What you guys do. I mean, you guys play a key role. Don't get me wrong. I look and watch what you guys do, but what you guys talk about, especially when you guys talk about money and investing and stuff, I pay attention to none of that because you guys don't have you have no idea what you're saying. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of videos on the internet telling you that you can cash flow from a mortgage property, a mortgage rental property. You can cash flow from a mortgage rental property. No, you can't. You can't do that. That's not true. That is absolutely not mathematically true. Yet millions of believe you do, but that's all part of it. That's how it's supposed to be. That's why I call it the sixth sense because it's amazing to see. Infinite banking and this type of banking and use the bank's money. You guys have no idea what you're saying. Listen, leverage. You guys add the words leverage. You have no money, so you have no choice but to use the bank's money. You know what OPM is? It's the bank's money. You guys can call it people's, other people's. What other people's? What are you talking about? None of you guys have money. Other people's money. Why you guys keep saying that? What people's are you talking about? I worked at a prison once. It's not worth going there. I bet it's not. People, and this is what it is. When you're in debt, you somehow forget that your time here on earth is limited. Even though there's cemeteries all around us, it's the craziest thing. Even though there's cemeteries all around us, we think we're here forever or something. We forget that our time here is limited. When you're in debt and always thinking about money, you forget about that. Believe that you do. Totally forget. Hey, my time here is limited. And so when you realize that, like, and then you go do some time, 5 years, 10 years, you're like, oh shit, 10 years? That's 10 years, doc, from your lifetime here on earth. But when you're young, you don't know that. You don't listen, it doesn't even matter if you're young. Young people know their cemeteries. Ask a hey, teenager, hey, you know what a cemetery is? Yes. You know those people they once walked the earth. Those people in those cemeteries. You do know that, right? Yeah. Now they're not here. Right. So that means our time here is limited. Oh yeah, I got plenty of it. What? What are you talking about? How you know that? You think a young person listen to that? No, they're not listening to any of that. Young people will see homeless people on the street and they'll believe what TV showing them. Oh, they're only on the streets because they've been doing drugs and this and that. No, Those people that you guys see in tents, some of those people used to have nice homes, big old homes like you guys, nice cars, all that, nice jobs. They wasn't all drug addicts. I want you to. Those are people that had big homes, big payments, not doing their taxes right, evading taxes, collections, tickets, whatever, just burying themselves. Restitution. It's more than that. I guarantee you, the majority of people that you see that are homeless are because of bad financial decisions, not drugs. Bad, and this is my opinion. Bad financial decisions their entire life. Just on the negative side of the system. They're a whole entire, and if you have made up in your mind that you're never paying off your student loan debt, you're going to remain on the negative side of the system until you're dead. Yes, till you're dead. Never knowing what it's like to be free. When you're free, you don't think about money. I don't think about money. You guys have no idea, again, have no idea how much space it takes up in your creative mind when you're always thinking about money. All you gotta do is go to the government's website and see how much they printed for it and look at the prices. Look how much they printed for it. Ask yourself, why am I always thinking about these pieces of paper they made for pennies? Because there's something that you cannot see. That's why. You know what it takes to make US currency the number one currency in the world? Can you imagine what that must take? I get it. Totally get it. It is what it is. And now just go down the list. Who's next? Euros? Okay. Are they capitalists over there? Yes, I'm sure they are. Sunturai says, I always thought signing a deal with the devil was a celebrity getting lots of money. I feel like financing things you don't have cash for is a deal with it. It is, because what people what debt slaves don't know is that when you finance something, like if you finance a car for 84 months, you just sold 84 months of the time in your life. 84, you just sold 8 for a car that's depreciating negatively for you because you're paying interest, positively for the bank because they're earning interest on a thing that's going down in value. So you're really, like, debt slaves don't really understand. It doesn't, the Kelly Blue Book, like when you go look up the Kelly Blue Book of a car and look up its value, the prices that you see are people, the value of that car is for the people who pay cash for those cars. People who pay cash for the car they have to. So if they went on a car lot and bought a, let's say a 2018 truck, right, in cash, now they're ready to sell it in 2022 because they, check the mileage or whatever, right? They look up the value of that truck today, but it's only that value for the person who paid cash, not for the person who financed it. The price of that car is different for the person who owns it. Everybody has a different interest rate. Everybody has many months, less months, bad collections, gap insurance, blah blah, upside down. You don't know how upside down a person is in a car. The blue book value of the car is irrelevant. This is how you tell. This is how you tell the blue book value of your finance car. Log into your bank account. where you make your payments to, see how much you owe left on that car. That's the blue book value of the car for you. Don't worry about going to Kelly Blue Book. Just log into your account where your payments are going to. See how much you owe the bank. That's the blue book value of your car right there. People who pay cash for cars, they don't have to log into a bank account. They have to go to a place to see the value of the car. So they go to Kelly Blue Book or any car valuing website. So when you guys see somebody driving a nice car, you don't get jealous. Oh wow, they're driving a nice. No, because you don't know how they got that car. If they're making payments, it doesn't matter how they got it. Who cares how they got it? Once you own yourself, the financial world becomes quiet. Why? Because you no longer pay attention to debt slaves when they talk about money and investing and cash flowing and all that stuff, because they're all talking from the negative. If somebody believes they can own a mortgaged rental, they own a mortgaged rental property, they're talking from the negative because that's impossible. You can't do that. You can't cash flow. You think you can make, they think they can make money before paying the bank back. You can't do that. You think you're gonna get paid? They believe they're gonna get paid first before the bank. No, you're not. It gets so quiet. You know exactly what to do. You only hear the right people because it's a language. It's a different language. Like if somebody heard this video and they say, "Hey man, I know some millionaire friends, some billionaire friends." I guarantee you, if you sat me in front of them, they would immediately know that I'm different. Immediately. Soon as I just say it, "Hey, I know capitalism is psychological, sixth sense is true," they'll be like, "Oh shit, he does know." They would immediately know that I'm not like you. Then when you cross over and you understand how it works, you can do anything, anything. There are no limits. You clearly see there are physical limits, but psychologically, there's no limits psychologically. It's unlimited. Put it this way. This is how I look at virtualization, okay? Of these worlds, these new worlds. They have taken something that was only psychological and turned it physical virtually. So now you guys have a visual of what is only psychological. But they control that one. They get to control that world, that psychological world that you are now part of, because it's virtual. You know it's virtual, so you know it's not real. So it can only be psychological. And then they're going to make multiple versions of it. Man, you guys are going to be so lost. Good luck getting out of that. Good luck. Good luck to the future SMD counselors that's going to have to deal with that. Once they make US currency 100% digital, and then they start opening up the virtual worlds, ooh, you guys got some work ahead of you. Debt slaves don't even own physical property in the real world. Now they think they're buying virtual property. Good luck. Talking about they're buying virtual property in a mortgage while they're doing it inside their mortgaged house. Now, if you're a person with if you're a person that has had low self-confidence all your life, I could help change that forever. I could help change that. If you're a person that says, "Oh man, I don't have the right clothes, I don't drive the right car, I can't get the doing that, I can't get the woman." That's not true. None of that. All that changes. That all changes. That'll all change. You see all that energy most dudes be putting in to go get some sex? That you take that energy and then you use it for something else. You don't have to do it like that. You don't have to hunt that hard. You will do something. It'll be different. I guarantee you, you'll be different. Like you young men right now, you think you have to have the nicest car, you have to have the nicest clothes, you have to be doing it. No, you don't have to do none of that. You're wasting energy. Look how much energy you put in what you do just to go try to get sex, right? You'll try to get the car, you make sure you have the nice job, you make sure you went to the nice college. All this energy for what? For sex? No, no. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. That's a little deeper than I'm gonna go, but let me just tell you this. Once put it this way, once you control that, once you control sex, I'm gonna just long story short, once you control sex, your energy totally changes, and then women will be attracted to you, I promise. Because you're gonna be giving off a different kind of energy than what the average man does. You'll be a man that has control. You have control over your sex. It's different. I promise you, it's different. And women will see that, they will pick up on that and say, "Huh, there's not many dudes like that. Nope, not many. I know that." Food and energy prices only to increase. People better start prioritizing. Huh. How can I address this? When I hear, and this is very important, okay? And I'm not saying specifically you, SPIV. I just want to make sure this is clear. Whenever I hear a person talk about prices increasing, uh, they better be ready. They better start prioritizing. When I hear a person says that, they can only be talking about themselves. They're usually people that say things like that are expressing how they feel inside, because that's not because anybody saying that, the first thing I need to understand is, does that person own themselves? Are they in student loan debt? Because if you're deep in student loan debt, you got car payments and you're in collections, prices increasing it will seem like that to you because you're paying more in interest. So it looks like that. It all counts on who are you hearing this any financial information. You got, long story short, like this, you guys. Anytime somebody gives you some financial information, you got to know if that's a debt slave or not telling you that. Hey, the dollar's doing this, the dollar's up and down, and it's doing this in the stock market. Do you have student loan debt? Yeah, I'm not listening to you. Why? Because you have student loan debt. You don't own yourself talking about money. You don't listen to people that do not own themselves talk about money, investing, saving, budgeting. You don't listen to them at all because they don't own themselves. Yes, I need to better prioritize as well, mainly speaking about friends and family around me who want me to participate in money spending activities. And this is the wonderful thing about owning yourself. Okay. And this is, you got to, and you work your way up to this. Okay. This is not easy, but you will discover the power of no. Not only will you discover the power of no, you will tell the person the exact reason why. You won't make up a story. You won't, hey, I can't because of this. You know, people tend to do that just to not kind of ruffle the people's feathers or whatever, right? But you will tell the people, no, why not? Because I'm getting out of debt. I'm prioritizing my life, and that doesn't go in the order of my life. So, no. You see what I'm saying? I totally get it. I get what you're saying, but I want you guys to really embrace the power of no. I remember I used to hear that a lot from motivational speakers. You know, every now and then you say, "Hey, man," they'll say something like, "Hey, you guys cannot believe the power of no." And you know, you kind of hear that, but you don't really know what it means. It's powerful, but you have to say it with an assertive voice when somebody asks you to, like, say, like you're getting out of debt and somebody's asking you to borrow money. You say, "No." Not an excuse, not, "Hey, I can't this week because I have this and that and this and that." You just say, "No." I don't care if you had $20,000 in the bank. The answer is no. You guys, the more you come into yourself, because I want, this is the best way I can explain this. If you've been in debt all your life, that means you have never owned yourself. Okay, that's what that means. You've never owned yourself. Therefore, you don't know what it feels like to own yourself. You have to put in hard, hard work and sacrifice to pay off all your debts. And once you own yourself, I promise you, you will have no problem telling people no, not even in the slightest. You won't make up an excuse to why you can't give them the money or do whatever. You'll say, "No, I have it, but I'm not lending it to you." You'll be very clear. There won't be no misunderstandings. There won't be nothing. So they'll know the next time that it pops up in their mind to ask you to borrow money, they won't. You know what I did? I printed out a picture of my credit report showing all zeros, don't owe nobody. I keep it in my wallet. So just in case somebody asks me for my credentials, I'm just pull out my credit report and say, "Look, look." They can be like, "What is this? I've never seen this before." I know. That's why I'm showing it to you. That means I own me. That means I know what I'm talking about. I'm one of the rarest people in the United States of America right now. Rarest. You'll get it, SPIV. You will. You'll get more and more comfortable with no. You will. It's just, "Hey, but I've never," yeah, it's going to shock them at first. They're going to get mad. They're going to get upset. But when you start embracing this, you won't care how debt slaves act emotionally about the time in your life and your money. You won't care how they feel about your money and your time. You won't. You'll get over that real quick. Because that means that's a problem that they have. That's their problem. That's not your problem. That's their problem. Sixth sense, CENTS, psychological and physical. Once you understand how it works, that's it. Your life changes. You're a better person. You treat people right. Mm, it takes everything, every piece of the puzzle. It must be checked. Exactly. Birthdays, weddings, vacation trips, all coming up, and want to prioritize getting out of debt and increasing set. Yep. That's and I'm glad you're bringing that up, SPIV, because that's very important because I want people to understand that during your journey, this is never going to stop. There's birthdays every single year. There's always somebody doing something on vacation. Somebody's always getting wet, getting married. You have to, but once you own yourself and you have money, and then and only then, if you want to go to the weddings and the birthdays, you have the money to do every single one of them if you choose, every single year if you want to. As long as you have, because I'm not saying never do those things. I'm saying understand that you can't do those things when your money's in the negative. I mean, you got to really accept, like, when somebody says, "Hey, I'm having a wedding," and your finances are in the negative, you literally, mathematically cannot go. Literally. You literally have to say, "No, I don't have the money." Now, the debt slaves, they're going to think you're broke because this happened to me. I couldn't go on the guys' trips. They thought I was broke. Oh man, L, you used to go on these trips all the time. Now I'm getting out of debt. They don't really understand what that means, getting out of debt. That means you can't go on vacation trips because you ain't no money. You have to accept that. But they thought I was, oh man, you're broke and this and that. You ain't okay, whatever. The power of no. Says, what? You're not coming on my birthday trip? Right, exactly. But SPIV, once you own yourself, okay, this is what I want you to really, you're probably not going to get it now, but you might will later. Once you understand, debt slaves are the currency. Once you really understand that, you won't look at prices increasing and taxes and all. You won't look at it that way because you know it's them. I know it looks like that to you. You're like, hey, prices going up on food and this. I know it looks like that. I know what it looks like. But when you're on the negative side of things, it looks very different. Okay. It feels that way because you're on the wrong side of it. Like, here's an example. When gas prices were going through the roof, now follow me here, okay? When gas prices were going through the roof, $4, $5, everybody's like, oh my God, these gas prices are, gas prices seem like that to people who have car payments. When you don't have car payments, yes, the gas is still the same price as everybody else, but it doesn't bother you like that. It's just an inconvenience. That's it. It's not really a big deal. So anybody back then, all you got to do is this. You hear somebody, one of your friends say, "Oh my God, gas prices are so high." You turn to them and say, "Are you making car payments?" And when they tell you yes, that's why that's why gas is high for them, because they're making car payments with interest. So if they're making car payments, that means they didn't have the money to buy the car. So they're probably using a credit card to buy the gas. So not only are they financing the car, they're financing the gas too. Of course it's expensive for them. Of course, when you're financing everything, but when you're not, it's not like that. That's the difference. That's the part. When you're on the negative side, it feels really bad. When you're on the positive side, it's like, oh, why are they doing that? Maybe they're just pushing people to buy electric cars. I don't know. That's what it looks like to me. When I see gas prices increasing, I just say, oh, okay, they must want debt slaves to finance electric cars. Okay. And that's exactly what they're doing. It doesn't matter if it's gas or electric. They're just saying we're switching over to electric. That's it. Then once they switch everybody over, I'm sure electricity prices are going to go up. I guess that's how it works. You know, everybody's going to be, oh, wait, we need a bigger grid. Look at all these people plugging up now. You know, we need all this. It costs a lot of money. Then it's going to increase the prices. I get it. Totally get it. Understand it. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care, really. When you're on the positive side of it, it's not really that big of a deal. It's just that's just how it works. That's how it happens. Hey, man, you know how much houses were back in the late 80s and compared to now? Look how why are you telling me about the house prices in the 1980s? What's that have to do with today? Nothing. Like when you hear a person compare a house prices back in the 80s compared to now, you got to look to them and say, why are you doing that? Of course it was different. Why are you telling me that today? Because one day somebody's going to say, hey, look at the house prices back in 2022 when it's 2042. It's like, so what? So if you're a person right now, especially a young person, especially the young people, if you are hating taxes right now, you're getting your information from the wrong person. They're putting fear in your mind, and it doesn't have to be there. Fear, hey, the IRS is watching everything. Yeah, so what? So I don't care. Know why? Because I told them everything already. I tell them every year, every quarter. Hey, here's my money. Here's where I kept it. Here's all my bank accounts. This is what I did over here. I put some money there. I put some money over there. Sure did. Got some payments on this system. Got some payments on that system. Sure did. And they got this from YouTube. Here's everything. Here you go. They already know. They just want to see if you're going to tell the truth. And trust me, your credit report tells if you are telling the truth or not. I promise you that. You're probably saying to yourself, what? If one look at your credit report, it will tell me if you're doing your taxes right. I promise you that. I could just look at your credit report and it will tell me if you're properly doing your taxes or not. I promise you that. It represents the business of you. Like if you're not doing your own personal taxes correctly, and then all of a sudden you own a business, you think you're going to do your business taxes properly? No, you're not. You're not going to do it. Hmm. And it's obvious too. It's obvious. That's the sad part. It's really obvious. And once you understand that 6 cents is true and psychological is true, hey, you're gonna be like, whoa, it's gonna blow your mind. It's gonna be like, wow, that's amazing. Sure is. It's amazing. Turn around, you'd be like, wait a minute, the stock market couldn't exist if they knew. Nope, sure couldn't. No. What about the housing market? Nope. Cars? No. Cell phones? Nope. Apple wouldn't exist. Sure wouldn't. What about Samsung? Nope. What do you think? People are financing Apple Watches. What you think? You think they have money if they're financing Apple Watches? Mm. Just money after money. Just that's why they don't when you get to that level, you don't that's why you don't think about money. You know why you don't think about money? Because you guys don't think twice about financing cell phones. That's why they don't have to think about money because you're not thinking. And that's called business. I don't care what the Apple does. Congratulations. Look at their headquarters. I always say this. Look at their headquarters. Doesn't that say they have money? That's what it says to me. It says we're making money, real money. So much money, we don't even think about money. But the plus about Apple, they also make quality product. I'm not even knocking them. I'm not even saying they're not worth the money that they're getting. I want to make sure people understand this. I'm not even saying Apple's not worth the money because they absolutely deserve it. Absolutely. They got quality product. Once I switched from PC to Mac, I never went back ever. I was like, "Oh, wow, this is beautiful." You mean I don't have to upgrade my damn computer every 2 years because it starts running like shit? Nope. I remember that too. I remember when financing cell phones was not a thing. Now it's normal. It's financing cell phones is normal. All they got to do increase the how many death slaves you think have money to so like look up the price of somebody look up the iPhone 14. I know Nick knows this answer. What's the cash price for iPhone 14, the biggest phone they got, Pro Maxi 2 or what? I don't know. They be coming up with some fun. I don't really follow Apple stuff. So whatever the phone is, look up the price of that phone. And I want you to say to yourself, how many people you believe have the money to pay for that phone in cash? Well, I'm assuming it's got to be 1600 by now. Max it out too. I want the biggest drive, the biggest memory, the biggest whatever screen or whatever. Get the top dog. Look up the price of that phone and then ask yourself how many people you think are paying cash for that. And this is what I want you to compare to. First of all, think in your mind how many people you think are paying cash for that phone. And then when you go out and about, see how many people you run into with that phone. Okay. You're going to be like, wait a minute. I know Susie didn't pay $1,700 for this phone. No, she financed it. They are only concerned with their monthly payments. DS don't care. How, yeah, you know what? Again, it's just business. That's all. It's just business. I mean, I hope one day Apple hears this and they hear it and they understand. They know that I understand that 6 cents is for real. It's real. I would love to be going to some of the offices that I'm sure. Listen, you guys don't even get this. I'm sure there's meetings and office meetings that happen that only very few that understand how it works attend. It has to be. They're too big not to know. Apple is way too big for them not to know. Amazon's the same thing. Same thing. Walmart, same thing. All the big boys. They have to know capitalism is psychological. They have to. Hmm. It's like, sometimes when I go out shopping, right? And this is just if you guys want to talk about anything, you just let me know. I keep posting a link because this is just random Sunday, okay? Nothing specific. Sometimes when I go shopping, not only like when I go to Walmart, let's say Walmart, because I can't nothing negative about Walmart, but I just want to make sure Walmart knows I'm not a debt slave, okay? You hear me, Walmart? I'm not a debt slave, though I shop at your stores. I know what you're doing when you put those old people at the checkers going really, really slow. You're forcing me to self-check myself. I know what you're doing, okay? I know it. And then when it's time to go check out myself, you're not even paying me to do it, and I'm buying your stuff. I get it's business. I don't care. But then you send me through this maze like I'm a cow. I can't stand that. I cannot stand walking through a maze of garbage just to get to the checkout stand. I can't stand that. I don't want you guys confusing me with debt slaves. I just go there because your prices. And then all of a sudden, all the other stores mimic the same thing, make you go through mazes of bullshit like cows. I can't stand that. I understand it's business though. They all do it. Have you guys noticed that? All stores have adopted that maze before you get to the front. Know why? Because it works. It works. They've got me a couple times. They have. But I'm just making sure when I walk through the maze, I'm aware. And then when you get to the counter, hey, would you like to save some money and open up a credit card? I'm not a debt slave. No. You want to save 10% on a shirt? No. You want to donate to this and that? I don't even know what the cause is. I just stepped up to the counter. You want me to donate to a company that I have no knowledge of? No. The answer is no. Expect you to make a donation decision at the when you check it out from your groceries. No. I like the tactics they use, right? I like to like when somebody does do a donation, they make the whole staff clap. Hey, Susie did this and that. I'm thinking to myself, I don't care what you guys do. Okay, you're not gonna make me feel any kind of way of saying no. That's not gonna work with me. Because I'd be saying affirm no too. Because they'll, when you do that, they be trying to make you feel bad. They'll say it real loud, like when you're up there. Hey, would you like to donate to the kids? This and that. And this. Oh man, why you talking so loud? You think you're gonna make me feel bad? I don't care who's behind me. I'll turn around and say no to everybody, including you. It's just business. I get it though. It's business. Do you want this, especially as a person with low confidence? Do you want this confidence? Do you want the power of just not caring about the opinions of debt slaves? You won't care what they think. You won't care how they call the way you dress. You won't care if you're not wearing the latest this and that and drive. You won't care if they're debt slaves. You won't care what they say because they don't own themselves. Do you know how much your world is going to change forever when you quiet all the debt slaves around you, when they're quiet and they're just talking garbage and nonsense, you're not even paying attention to it no more. You finally get to hear the correct information because what? You'll be on the positive side of it, not the negative side. Are y'all ready to not care? Exactly, Omanike. And I want you guys to understand it's a natural thing. It's not like you're going to have an attitude about not caring. It's just going to be something natural in you because you're not going to care how they feel about your no or if you don't respond to them talking to you negatively about your clothes or something, you're just not going to care because they don't know what they're talking about. Like, say, like you have an older paid off car and somebody with a nicer car who's making car payments, they're talking negatively about your car. You won't care what they think because that's not their car. They don't know that that's not their car they're driving. The bank is only letting them drive that car as long as they make the payments on time. Once they stop, the bank takes back their car. That's how it works. And if they believe they're making payments and own the car, that's their problem. They have a psychological problem because that's not mathematically true. If it's not mathematically true, all currency is psychological for you. Your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance equals psychological homeowner, not mathematical. You won't get caught up in that, young people. You won't. You won't get caught up in house fever. Hey, everybody's getting a house. Does it, I know it looks like that, but they're not. Like, for example, when debt slaves go get FHA mortgages with student loan debt for 3.5% of the purchase price, with the bank allowing just enough. Wow, that's just enough to cover one of these new houses being built. Sure is. That's weird. Wow, that is weird. Because guess what? If they said, if you went to go get an FHA mortgage while having student loan debt, and they said, but we're only going to let you go up to $100,000 and we're only going to loan you up to 100. Guess what? You couldn't get a house. That's bad news for everybody, including the bank. Of course, they got to give you enough to buy the house because you have no money today. So of course, it's going to be enough to cover the houses that are being built because they own the houses already. They're just going to put you in them and make even more money. You have student loan debt. Of course, you don't have $300,000, $400,000 for a house. You never will because you haven't paid off your student loan debt in 10 years. If you haven't paid off your student loan debt in 10 years, you're not paying off a house in 30. Okay, you're not. The only person that doesn't know that is you. You are the only person that knows that. So when you see all these massive communities of houses being built and you see them filling up fast, don't be jealous. Stop. I guarantee you, everybody in those complexes, like 99% of them, have mortgages. Who cares? They don't own nothing. Most of them have rules and regulations, HOA dues, people coming across your, hey, your grass is too long. Move your garbage can 6 inches. You can't have friends over. Does that sound like ownership to you? Doesn't sound like it to me. Doesn't sound like when somebody can tell you what you can and cannot do for you. That doesn't sound like ownership to me. Not to me. So many people deferring student loans, many don't consider it serious debt. I know, and that's all part of the program. That's why they make the interest rate so low. Thousands of people make videos about waiting on your student loan debt, comparing the interest rate of a student loan debt to your current interest. It's always going to be like that. That's never going to change ever. Debt slaves don't know. They don't know when you see people comparing interest rates. That should give you guys a clue. Interest rates, because only people who borrow money worry about interest rates on the negative side. When you start comparing negative, let me make sure I'm clear. When you start comparing negative interest rates, make sure it's clear, not just interest rates, because the interest rates are positive and negative. I'm talking about negative interest rates. So when you see somebody compare interest rate of a student loan, which is a negative interest rate, compared to a loan or some credit cards that you have, that's also negative interest rate. Who cares if you're comparing two negative interest rates? So what? They're both negative. Hey, this interest rate is lower than this is, but they're both negative. So what? Right. Going back to school, deferring, man. They make it really honestly, when I look at the whole thing, they really make it so. I mean, they have to because you guys have no money. Like, you got to think about it. If they made you make payments while you were in school, you'd probably end up quitting because you'd have to work more to stay in school. So you would you would probably drop school before. That would be bad for them. So, but if they stop the payments, And then on top of that, give you extra money. You know how sometimes they'll, because they did this to me, they would give me some money to cover my school, and then there would be a couple $1,000s over. Hey, this is extra, and I would say, "Oh, cool! This I can live off this or whatever I decide." Well, that's all part of it. Instead of taking that 2,000 and mailing it back, I kept it and spent it. And I get it. It's all good. I mean, it's perfect the way it does it. Put it this way: when I got the long story short, when I got the student loan, keyword loan, I knew I had to pay it back. I just knew it. But nobody was there to be like, but remember, I wish somebody would have said it to me when I was younger, said, hey, but remember, you cannot bankrupt student loan debt. I probably wouldn't have understood. And then they would have turned to me and said, you can bankrupt regular consumer debt like credit cards and even a house. You can get out of that. But this debt, you can't. And I would have been like, so what does that mean? That means the only way you can get out of this, you're going to have to work, earn money, and pay it off. What's up, Randy Woman?
Good early morning, LJ. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning. How are you?
I am blessed and I'm grateful. Thank you. Listen, I am loving the whole 6 cents branding. Like it is just so perfect.
Thank you.
You know, I was talking about, piggybacking on what you were saying about saying no to things when you make getting out of debt a priority and things like that. I was recently invited to an event. It's like a real high class event, right? People all over the nation that know about the event, that they look forward to the event. Well, not even nation, like world, but you
Okay.
have to be invited to this event, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so I looked into the event and I was like, okay, make it make sense for you to really want to go to this event. When you think about the cost of the event, you have to do a lot of preparing for the event, right? You basically it's an all white event. Okay, it's an all white event.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have on everything has to be right. Shoes, accessories, like everything has to be right.
Okay.
And whatever you bring with you has to be right. And you are you are mandated to bring something, like it's a requirement
To
to bring
bring
like
something to the event.
yes, to bring like decorations, a whole table set up,
Wow. That's a
all
lot
of
of
this.
demands. That's a
Yeah,
lot of demands.
yes, a lot of demands, right?
Wow. Okay. Uh-huh.
And when I looked into it, I was like, and considered the person who invited me. I said to myself, I see why this is impressive for and to her because of the kind of people, that's supposed to be there and that usually show up there. People who dress to impress, those that got to be seen,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And all I could think of was, but what does your debt look like?
Mm-hmm.
Why you're investing all this money, why you're spending all this money for a 1 day event,
Exactly.
for a 1 day event.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you get to rub noses, rub elbows with people. Okay, but I was all thinking to myself, okay, rubbing elbows when I'm almost out of debt. Like my only debt is my mortgage, very
Okay.
manageable,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, in the long scheme of things, what is rubbing elbows going to mean to me at this point in time
Mm-hmm.
for 1 day?
Mm-hmm.
And what am I going to benefit from trying to impress people who already don't know me to be impressed, right?
Right.
I don't know them to be impressed or to not be impressed,
Correct.
right?
Correct. You really don't know. You
I
really
really
don't know.
don't know.
You really don't know. Exactly. You really don't know. Okay. I like the way you're breaking it down because you're saying the right things. Go ahead.
And the person that invited me, um, I already know her debt situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very good career, but in extreme amounts of debt. Drive
Mm-hmm.
fancy cars,
Yep.
very big house,
Mm-hmm.
right? Filled with everything fancy,
Yep.
fancy closets, I mean the works.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But the debt
Yeah.
is incredible.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean anything for her to be in debt
Correct. Because she don't know. That's why.
because she don't know.
Obviously, she doesn't know. Right.
Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
or it just doesn't matter because, or she knows, or it just doesn't matter because the
It,
look.
it doesn't matter if you don't know.
It doesn't matter if you don't know.
Correct.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so the look of being affluent is more impressive than owning yourself and owning your time. And she's always stressed out
Mm-hmm.
because of all the work and the hours that she has to put in and has to do, even though she works for herself,
Mm-hmm.
but all the work that she has to do, but it's just keeping up
To maintain that life. To
to
maintain
maintain
it.
that life.
So she created herself a job. She created herself her own job.
She created herself her own
Mm-hmm.
job. Exactly.
Because her customers now own her because she has to keep that money coming in to maintain her lifestyle. So instead of her, now her customers are in charge of her business.
That is facts.
That is fact. Yes. And that therefore you created yourself a job.
That is facts.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like,
being able to say no, it was an easy no for me. Like, no, I'm fine.
and you know what you could do too to practice? This is, and I was talking to somebody the other day about this, that struggle with like, oh my God, you making all these, if you really take a step back and realize even when you're thinking like that, you're just wasting time, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's really not even an option. All you had to do is just write down a piece of paper, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance equals money for white party,
Right.
right? All you have to do
Right.
is write it down and say, now look and say, do I even have an option to even be thinking about what's going to happen? Maybe rubbing people? No, it's not even an option.
Right.
Because once you change that and the white party comes up, the event, you can go if you want to. Who cares? You got the money. Who cares? Have fun, whatever, right? You're going to be different than everybody at the party anyway. Once you own,
Right.
especially when you own yourself.
And in the long scheme of things, it doesn't even matter for me. Like even then, like looking at it, I'm like, I can't see me being, oh, I can't wait to go. Oh my God. I just like
Right.
mm,
I
not
don't
really.
like any kind of event that tells me what I have to bring and do. Like, okay, this is a white party. Got it. Okay, everything white. Understand. Then they talk about you got to bring this. You got to. No, I'm not doing any of that. No.
Right, right. Yep. So I just wanted to come up and share that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Of course, Rainy Woman. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate it.
Okay, dear.
Bye bye. I like that. You guys are really gonna run into that a lot along your journey. I promise you, it's gonna get easier. I promise you. Once you own yourself and you do what it takes to own yourself, you're not gonna have a problem telling people that do not own themselves no. Like debt slaves tell on themselves, just, hey man, what's up with you? Oh man, I'm stressed. You know how many people say that all the time? I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed. Those people don't know stress is optional. Debt slaves believe stress is normal and it's just a way of life. No, it's not. Stress is optional. You can choose not to have stress in your life. You can choose. If you get stressed from bill collectors, say like you had one bill collector calling you all the time, stressing you out. Pay the collection off. Guess what? That stress is removed from your life immediately. Pay the collection. It's done. No that collector will be calling you never ever again because it's paid off. That stress has been removed. You're with somebody, and this is a big thing. If you're with somebody that treats you like shit, causing you stress, they're immediately removed. Goodbye, grown person. They're removed. It doesn't matter if you're married, have kids, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're removed. You think I'm gonna live in hell because I have kids with you? I'm not doing any of that. No. I'll go through the court system, get my rights and this and that and blah blah. But other than that, I'm free. Been there, done that personally. No, thank you. You're right, Jewel. Always the look, never the reality, for sure. People rather look like they have it than they always say it though. Fake it till you make it. Hey, fake it till you're dead. They don't know the true meaning of fake it till you make it. What if you never make it? That means you're gonna fake it till you're dead. Because you guys got a limited time. You guys, like when you're in your 20s, like 20s to about 40s, that's your prime money making earning years because you're young. But if you reach your 40s and you still in the same amount of debt, the older you get, you can say what you want. The older you get, your money earning potential goes down. I got all these years of experience. Yeah, that's true. But you're older too. Remember that. Maybe they want to pay a younger person. Which say, Jewel, the emotional labor to maintain what she wishes to keep. Oh, I can only imagine. And I want to make sure people understand this, okay? Debt slaves, this is the wonderful thing about the sixth sense, right? Debt slaves don't own themselves. They already don't know how to run the business of themselves. Now they're going to create a business and do the exact same thing. So now two businesses own them. Then when you run a business, and this is what you guys got to be very careful, because they love to say this. I hear this every now and then when I go to channels. Oh man, when you work for yourself, you work even harder. That's true at first. When you first start, yeah, you're going to be working a lot of hours, but your goal is to work less each year, profit more, work less. That's your goal. Because if you do that, your customers never own you. Because if you go into business and you keep going into debt, which you will if you don't even own yourself, now you have to make a lot of money to maintain your current lifestyle. You have to. Now your customers own you. No, no, thank you. None of that. I don't allow that. Some people will make you feel like if you're you've had a job all your life, and then you hear these people like, oh man, you work 7 days a week when you work for yourself. Maybe at first, because you're trying to get it up. Most of your money, you're trying to get the business going. Most of the money that you make is going right back into the business. Like when you go into business debt free, the majority of the profits that you make from the business, you can put right back into the business because you don't have payments. You don't have car payments. You don't have all these credit card payments. You don't have all those payments. So the majority of the money can go right back into the business. Therefore, it's taxed differently. So you're working hard to improve it, to get it going, and then it starts getting streamlined, and then you start working out the times, and okay, this and that, and then it starts getting better and better. Then the pendulum switches, You're making more money using less of your time. Because some people that work overly, then they have their own. Say like you work all those hours and then you married and you have kids. That means somewhere is going to start declining customer service. Because if customer service starts to decline, you're in trouble. See it all the time. See it all the time. You talk. I'd be like, you talk to your customers like that? That doesn't make any sense to me. Talking to your customers rude. Man, Amazon's customer service is so good, it's annoying. You buy something, you get a hey, here's your thing. Hey, it's your package is on the way. Your package stopped here. I'd rather have that annoying message than nothing. Their customer service is so good when I do get an Amazon, I don't even look at it anymore because I already know what it is. It's them telling me about the process of my package. Thank you, Amazon. When you start a business, all you gotta do is look at, hey, let me look at Amazon's customer service. Just pay attention. When you go to Amazon, do you feel scared when, oh, I'm not sure if I should purchase from this website? No, you have 100% confidence that you're gonna get what you're about to buy. Amazon had to earn that. That wasn't given to Amazon. They had to earn that. How did they earn it? From their customers. The service that their customers want and deserve. That's what they get. The key is good customer service, no different than Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A's food is, I mean, it's good, but I don't really go there for the food. I go there for the customers. I mean, I go for both really, but mainly for the customer service. I know every time I go there, the customer service is going to be phenomenal. I can hear the people talking to me clearly, clear English words, not dragging their mouth, not pretending like they can barely open their mouth to speak. What? Speaker system barely can understand them, like they still cover the speaker systems from the 1980s. It just makes no sense. They make so much money they close on Sundays. Now they're like, oh, they do it for religious reasons. Yeah, that's true too. But I'm just saying, that's money. That's still money. They're like, hey, we're making so much, we don't have to do that. I always tell people, man, I can only imagine how many people think they could just run and open up a Chick-fil-A franchise. I bet, and this is my opinion because I don't know the inside of Chick-fil-A. I guarantee you the first thing they're going to run is your personal credit report. Guaranteed. They're going to see how you've been treating the business of yourself because I guarantee you this. If you haven't been treating your business of yourself right, you're not going to treat a Chick-fil-A right. You're not. And your credit report is going to show that. You're going to come with a nice car, nice clothes, and hey, I'm making all this money. And they're going to like, hey, we need to run your personal credit report. We don't care what you're showing us. We need to see how you've been treating the business of yourself because you're going to treat our Chick-fil-A brand accordingly because they got a respectful brand. They're just not letting anybody in. Believe that. Because one badly run Chick-fil-A looks bad for all of them. That can, when I look at Chick-fil-A, that clearly cannot happen and will never be allowed to happen. That's clear. I was like, just the other day, I was watching a video, right? And this new Chick-fil-A opened up somewhere in California. I was like, I've never seen a drive-through that looks like that. They upgraded the drive-through. I mean, I can't even explain the way this drive-through looked. It was just beautiful. You know why they can do that? Good customer service. That's what happens when you have good customer service. You can do stuff like that. You can hire full staff. When you walk in there, you're not waiting around and watching people in the background ignore you. They know they're standing there, but they're not looking at you, and you're standing there forever. That doesn't happen at Chick-fil-A. You notice that? fake it till you make it. And if you if you never make it, fake it till you're dead. I love that thinking process you're doing, Rainy Woman, though. That thinking process is the proper way to think. I guarantee you, if I went to a white party like that, I guarantee you people would know that I'm different than 90%, 99% of people in the party. They would know I'm acting different. I'm not doing the same things. I'm not pretending because I can only imagine the conversations that go in part. Hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm this. I own the business of that. And I grow. Then they start talking numbers, especially when they start talking numbers. Hey, yeah, my company grossed this and that last year. Why are you telling me that? I didn't ask you any of that. You trying to impress me? I don't know if any of that is true unless I see the numbers. So you could tell me anything. My company's this and that. How do I even know it's your company? How do I know that? If people ask me, hey, what do you do? I'll be like, I don't feel like talking about it. I don't want to talk about it. They'll be like, what? You don't want to talk about it? Nope, sure don't. Nah. Any questions? Let me put up my here's my Cash App, Savings Minus Debt. Thank you, everybody. My email, savingsminusdebt@gmail.com. And you can go to my website to schedule a consultation, savingsminusdebt.com. I don't know, but this 6 cents is really because I don't know. I don't know. Something's just pushing me towards that because it just makes sense, right? It really does. It just makes sense. Oh, there we go. It just makes 6 cents just makes sense. Oh, banners. That's what I was trying to go to. Okay. But even with the shorts, then we're gonna get off here. It's going on 2 hours. So we're gonna wrap it up in 2 hours if there are no questions. Even with the shorts, I do understand that shorts are the way that things are just happening right now. That's why mostly all platforms use shorts because that's what people do. Now you have about a second or two window to catch somebody's attention. So if I just get up there and say mortgages don't buy houses, that would definitely get somebody's attention because they debt slaves attention because that's all they know. That's how they believe that you buy houses with mortgages. So if a person says, if I say, you can't own the equity in a mortgaged house, they're going to be like, what? That will catch their attention. So I noticed like when I say those things, because you got to remember, debt slaves have never heard that before. They've never heard somebody say mortgages don't buy houses. You can't own the equity in a mortgaged house. They've never heard that before. So of course it's going to catch them and it's very hard for debt slaves to have an opinion about something that they never heard before in their life. Now you get the normal people that just say just dumb stuff, but most of you guys don't see it because I just delete it. Just it's really pointless. But that's why when you guys see the shorts, you guys don't really see that many comments under there because people don't really know how to comment because they're so confused of what that means. Because if you tell the average person that you cannot buy a house with a mortgage, they won't know what you're saying. In their brain, they'll say, that's not true. Everybody does it. Who has the money to buy a house in cash? They run through this whole program that they've been trained to say. Nobody has that kind of money sitting around to buy a house in cash. And no, only the person saying it. Like when you hear somebody say, who has the money to buy a house in cash? What they're really saying is that they don't have the money to buy a house in cash. Who has $50,000 sitting around to put down on the house? They're saying they don't have $50,000 to put down on a house. Because they can only speak for themselves. Or when you hear somebody say, wow, that's expensive, they're saying it's expensive for themselves because it's not expensive for everybody. That's clear. People buy expensive stuff all the time in cash. There's people that do that. But the majority of people do not because they can't, especially when you are the currency. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean, LJ? We are the currency, debt slaves. You're open up the calculator, put in your car payment minus your car balance equals you are the money. You are the car loan. Your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance equals you are the mortgage, equity, and appreciation and interest. You. Using Reigning Woman's example of going to a party or event or whatever, right? And you have a mortgage. Your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance equals money used to go to the party. Now, if here's the debt matrix, here's the glitch in the debt matrix. Say, like, for using her example again, you have a mortgage and you would get invited to an exclusive party, but you have a mortgage. Open up the calculator and put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance equals money for the party. Here's the glitch in the debt matrix. If you decide to go to the party knowing you have no money to go, makes you the money because you believe you can do something that the calculator is clearly showing you that you do not have the money to do, and you decide to do it anyway, makes you the money because you believe you can. What about it, Sewer Rat? Hold on for a quick second. Okay. So tell me, what do you mean? What's your thoughts on the housing market? What's that? You got to give me a little more detail about that. Jodo says, debt slaves are conditioned to constantly talk about the price. They never take into account the interest, finance charges, and other total costs. Well, they don't really do that because they have no choice. They have to pay interest, charges, and all that stuff. They have to do that. In my opinion, okay, this is my opinion, okay? Again, I look at the housing market very different than the average person. I know debt slaves have no money to buy anything. That's step number one. Once you realize that, you really get it. They don't have any money to buy anything, okay? The houses that you see are bank owned, empty or occupied, they're bank owned. If they're empty, the bank's not making any money. They need to put debt slaves in them. So now I see a bunch of houses being built. Now the bank is not building them to lose money. That's why they've been here for centuries. They're not, so they're obviously looking to fill them. So, like, you see what's happening, zero down home loans. Now all the other companies are jumping on board to give zero down home loans to put debt slaves in them. So right now, in my opinion, to buy right now would probably be not wise to me. That's my opinion. I'm not a real estate advisor. I'm nothing. Okay. I'm just telling you my mathematical opinion. Right now, with zero down home loans, it's going to get the debt slaves in them faster. To make it even happen faster, they're going to have to drop the interest rate to mortgage loans to a ridiculous, never seen before low, plus 40-year mortgages, 50-year mortgages. They're going to add in all that because put it this way, something has to happen spectacular. Something never seen before has to happen. They got 3 months to do it. Because in January, student loan payments kick in. So if they get all the debt slaves in the houses, And then student loan payments kick in. They won't be able to afford the houses. So they'll lose it. So something, in my opinion, again, something spectacular has to happen. What's going to keep them in those houses? I don't know. Student loan payments coming up on January. These debt slaves have brand new cars they financed during the student loan pause. They finance new cars. They just financed new phones. iPhone 14 just came out. Then they finance a house, and then they got to put furniture because debt slaves always want new shit in their new house. So now they got to finance all washer and dry. They're making a whole bunch of payments. Student loan payments kick in. That's going to tip them over. And they're going to what they're going to lose the house. They can't afford that anymore. That's done. The bank would lose. The bank would lose. So they're going to do zero. Look at the mortgages right now. Zero down. We don't check your credit. You're approved if your light bill payments are on time. That's stupid. That means we're trying to get them in there fast. So the next move, in my opinion, would be to drop the interest rates to a never seen, but hey, drop that shit to zero. Can you imagine? Zero down home loans, 0% interest rate. We don't even check your credit. Long as your phone bill and your light bill or payments have been on time for the last 2 months, you're good. You're approved. Then when the student loan debt kicks in, student loan payments kick in, I think when houses are going to they're going to take some losses. That they won't be able to stop that. They're going to take some. That's when people that have cash come in and scoop those stragglers. QJ says, LJ, in your opinion, what the reason why vehicle prices are extremely high? Why are I haven't really been paying attention to too much, but I don't really pay attention to vehicle prices because I know, again, it doesn't. And the reason why I don't look at vehicle prices the same way, because I know debt slaves have no money to buy them. So I think to myself, so why would they be jacking these prices up? Because they know that debt slaves cannot buy cars without the bank's permission. Okay, so they're jacking them up ridiculously. Why are they doing that? I got to look into that more because I haven't really been paying attention. Because usually when they do that, there's a reason why they do that. Because car manufacturers, at least the owners, know that they know debt slaves have no money to buy cars, so they have to ask the bank's permission to buy the cars that they make. I guess it's just, you know what? I'm assuming that it's just going up like everything else. Look at the phones. Phone prices are going up every single year. And it really doesn't matter. I mean, these phones, I've been seeing flip phones going for like $2,500 for a flip phone. You think a debt slave is dropping $2,500 cash for a flip phone? Never. As far as I see right now, look, the way I look at things, and it's obvious. From this point on, financing phones is normal to debt slaves. The majority of debt slaves would never, ever have the cash to buy a brand new phone, have the money to buy a brand new phone that they want in cash. They will never have that money. They will never have 1,500. Hey, the new iPhone 14 is coming out. How much is to buy it in cash plus tax? Yeah, that's like $1,700. You got $1,700 cash to drop on the phone? Nope. Student loans will just got back in default defer. Oh yeah, they will go back in that. You sure will. Just keep kicking the can. Yeah. Because you got to think about it. The majority of people and I don't know why, because it wasn't all, it was some, which was weird. Like when they paused the student loan debt, they removed all the student, I mean, not removed, but all the student loan debt was showing zero. Most people would log into their credit report and the student loan balance would all say zero or completely removed totally, which does what? Increase their credit report credit score. Here are people that have been in default for years behind their student loan debt. And then all of a sudden it's removed from their credit reports. Because you got to remember the majority of people that have been in default of their student loan debt, being in default prevented them from access to more credit because of their default status. Now, so that means their debt was probably not as high as they believed it was. But once that was removed, their credit score went up. And guess what they all do? Go out and get in deep debt. So those people that were actually being helped by being denied loans because of their default status or student loan debt, once it removed, now they put themselves, now in January, it's going to be back on there, back at its original status. But they're going to be in deeper debt on top of the debt they couldn't get before while it was on there. Now they have it. Now they're in a deeper debt. Oh my God, it just goes on and on and on. I'm tempted, but grandpa iPhone still works. Yeah. You know, even when you like think about it this way, I want people to really understand how it works. Even when, like when you're in debt and you say something like, again, I'm not picking on you, Jojo. I'm just saying in general. When people say things like that, oh man, but I am tempted to get that iPhone. You got to take a step. Imagine you stepping out of yourself and say like you have a car payment, right? You open up the calculator, put in your car payment minus your car balance in it. And when you hit equal, that equals money for new phone. Car payment minus car balance equals money for new phone. Now, when you are, if you're a person that says, "Oh man, I'm tempted," you got to say to yourself, "Why are you tempted when you can't buy anything? You can't buy a phone with negative dollars. So why are you tempted?" That's a psychological thing in debt slave's brain, that believing even when they have no money, they still have the option of buying. All a debt slave, like a debt slave believes buying a house, you have to be a certain age, or if you're at this point stage in your life, you should be having a house, you should be owning property, blah blah blah, right? That's all part of the program psychologically. When a debt slave, all they have to do is go look for the house they want, and say like the house is 400,000, and you say, okay, I wonder if I can qualify for a house. All you got to do is log into your bank account and see if you have $400,000 in your bank account. If you don't have $400,000 in your bank account, you don't qualify to buy the house. But the bank comes along and says, "Hey, but there's another option. It's called business." I get it, totally understand it. The housing market couldn't exist without them. I totally get it. All listen, I understand business could not be conducted without the bank's involvement. Here, let me give you an example. If the banks cut off all credit card access for, let's just say 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Everything would stop. Everything would, all business, stock market, everything would stop immediately. Do you understand? Everything. So that says that they understand how it works. I understand that. I get it, totally get it. You guys couldn't exist without credit cards. You couldn't exist. That's bad news for everybody. LJ, I'm an alien. I'm talking paying with cash. Aliens think before they spend. Yep, at least I do. Hence the temptation. No, I get it. No, like I said, it wasn't specifically for you because I know how debt slaves talk. They do certain things. And when you understand this, like the world, your reality is different. That's the only way I can explain it to you. It's different. You no longer pay attention to people's houses and cars and their jobs and where they work or what they, it's like you'll see somebody buy a house, finance a house, but they work 70 hours a week. You're making payments on something that you're never in? That makes no sense. None, zero. Why would you might as well be paying rent. Debt slaves don't know rent payments and mortgage payments are the same. Payments mean you don't own. That's why you're making payments. Homeowners don't make payments. That's what makes them homeowners. Think student loan forgiveness is just a one-time thing. People will maintain that debt balance in hopes for the future. Forgiveness, at least that's what okay, that's a great question. Okay, that's a great question. But I want you guys to, again, I don't look at the economy like the majority of people do. $10,000 is forgiven. Okay, this is what it really is that you guys can't see. For the majority of debt slaves, you guys just don't know. $10,000, that's interest they're knocking off. Because you guys got way more than that, way more than $10,000 in interest on your student loan debt, way more. So if they take away $10,000, they're just taking away the interest from the money that they made. It looks like that to you because that's how much your student loan, like put it this way. So you guys can clearly see, all right? And it's just business. I don't care how they do it. It's remarkable how they do it. It doesn't bother me, okay? It's not a bad thing. Say like you got I'm gonna keep the numbers low so you can stay with me. Say like you got a $20,000 student loan when you were in your 20s. You kept it for 10, 15 years. Now the 20,000 is 40,000. Okay? But your original cost of your college was 20. But now you've kept it so long, it's now 40. President, he forgives 10. Now you're down to 30. He just forgave interest. He didn't forgive any of your student loan debt, slave. Because you still owe 30. If he forgives 10, he forgave $10,000 of interest. You still have $10,000 of interest over your original 20. You're not forgiven of nothing. Plus, on top of that, if you haven't paid off your student loan in 10 years and they forgive $10,000 of student loan debt, you're not paying. When are you going to pay off the rest? Never. It's all a mathematical illusion. It's just that you're just on the wrong side of it. It's two sides. There's a positive side and there's a negative side. You're on the negative side. I never want to buy a house again. Finance a house. You just never know, Omanike. You create a successful business. You won't be buying it, Omanike. Your customers will be buying it for you and paying the taxes and furnish it the way you want it. They will be doing that. Can't lie, that 10K is a huge help. How much do I sound like? Well, I would have to see your credit report to know that. Because if you're saying is a huge help, okay, let's just go by the word you're using, SPIV. I can't lie that 10K is a huge help. That must mean you got a lot of student loan debt if you think that. Plus, it counts on by the way you make it sound, look like you've been paying on student loan debt longer. And I could be wrong. Student loan debt longer than you actually went to school. And like the example I said earlier, this is how you can really tell. If you grab your original balance that you were charged to go to college, and then add in the interest rate that you have been charged the whole time. Again, so if your school was 20, you kept it long enough, now it's 40. The president forgives 10. You still have 10,000 in interest plus the loan. You haven't been forgiven of nothing. They're just taking less money. They're cutting their own money down. Right. I don't want to fix anything. I like easy. And I'm with you. I'm with you, Monica. I don't want to fix nothing. I don't. Luckily, I have a wonderful landlord, man. He is on top of it. Anything that goes wrong, he's there the next day to fix it. I remember last year, the AC unit went out on this townhouse I live in. That bad boy was fixed the next day. Brand new unit, done. Loved it. And he probably does that because my rent payments are automatic. I don't send him a check or go to his office and pay him. I just set that up in my bank account and make it automatic. I don't even look at it. The payment has to be there by a certain date. I just set the date in my online bill payment and make sure it's there on that date. That's all. Credit is solid. I owe 15,000 left. Yeah. And I promise you, once you pay off the 15,000, you won't even be talking about your credit like that anymore. Hey, my credit's solid. You'll be like, I don't even know what it is. Let me go look. What is it? I don't even like right now. I don't even know my credit score. I don't. I really don't care either. I just don't. I know it's not bad. What's crazy is that no, I looked recently. It was down in the 600s. Now, the whole time I had a career, my credit score has never been in the 600s. Now that I have no debt and barely use it, now it's down in the 600s. That's my punishment from the banks. Hey, we're going to make your credit score lower because you're not letting us make money off of you. I don't care about your credit score, banks. I don't care. Debt slaves, you guys don't know that you don't need a good credit score to buy a house. You just walk up and pay cash. The bank's not even involved. Did you guys know the bank doesn't have to be involved when you're purchasing a house? Did you know that? They don't have to be involved. You're choosing them because you go to them. How did the bank know that you wanted to buy the house that you're living in today? How do you think the bank know? Because you went to them. They didn't, there is no way. Like if you had cash, there is no way the bank would have known that you bought that house and who bought it because they're not involved. Any questions? Everything just makes, when you understand the sixth sense, right? Everything just makes sense. Everything's obvious. Everything is simple. Everything just makes sense, and you don't get emotionally involved. Why? Oh my God, man, they keep going up on student loan. Like for example, you know how to solve colleges from continuing to go up on college prices or whatever? Stop going. Stop going. The prices will come down if you stop going. I promise you. The deans of colleges won't be making millions. That should give you guys a hint. If a dean of a college is making $2-3 million, that should tell you how much money they're making, right? If they could pay a dean that much money to be a dean of a college, come on, man. Do you guys you probably won't believe this, but I guarantee you that I bet you there's some deans of colleges that make that much money that are in student loan debt. You probably find that hard to believe. A dean of a college in student loan debt, you probably find that hard to believe, but I bet you there's quite a few out there, guaranteed. And you got to ask yourself, what is a dean of a college doing in student loan debt? I know, ain't that weird? That's weird. How much money you make here? Yeah, then what are you doing in student loan debt? What's that mean? I don't get it. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter a person's occupation. Because you probably think, wow, a dean of a college, they got to be smart. There's no way they have student loan debt. It has nothing to do with that. That's why. Nothing. You probably think to yourself, since they're a dean of college, they must know all the right moves. Says who? Like even here, let me give you some more examples. I can go on and on with this, right? You hear somebody goes to MIT, you immediately think, hey, you got to be smart. You got to be smart to go there. Who says who? MIT? You think everybody that graduates from MIT, okay, put it this way. Do you think everybody that goes to MIT they have to be smart? And everybody that graduates that have to, if that's the case, listen, if they're so smart, that means everybody from MIT don't have student loan debt. Because I guarantee you this, I guarantee you MIT has math classes, guaranteed. So people that are so smart that go to MIT, they should know not to keep student loan debt longer than actually going to the school. So if they went to MIT for 4 years, they should know not to keep your student loan debt for 10 years. That's not smart. Why would you pay on something longer than getting the service? You got a service for 4 years, yeah. Why are you still paying on service 10 years later? Because that has nothing to do with the school. MIT can charge what they want because that's what they made you guys believe. Hey, everybody smart goes here. Smart people come out of here. Says who? Says who? Do some come out of? Yeah, I'm sure, but I guarantee you it's not as many as you think. The majority of this is all you got to look up. How many MIT? I don't even know if Google will have this answer. I hope somebody Google this. MIT graduates with student loan debt. Look that up. See even that statistic even exists. Go look it up. You mean an MIT graduate doesn't know not to keep a student loan debt for 15 fucking years? December 3.3 million per year. Chicago University. Ain't that crazy? Nobody blinks an eye. Damn, what are you doing for $3.3 million at a college as a dean? What are you doing? I'm curious. What? I better not find out Robert has student loan debt. I'm like, hey, can I have a meeting with you, Robert? How did you get this position? You make 3.3. I'm not saying that Robert does or doesn't. Okay. This is just hypothetical. Okay. Because I don't know nothing about the man. Right. But if I found out a dean that makes that much money has student loan debt, I'm going to be like, what? That better not be the case. I'm not going to that school. Why? Because your dean is in student loan debt. What are you talking about? You think I'm going here? Are you crazy? Not going here. No, sir. No. I don't know how you guys can investigate that, but I would check that out. Like, you got student loan debt? Because deans, like, I'm sure they're like any other college educated person. They love to show their degrees on the wall of how many they got. That's almost, hey, listen, that's almost a dead giveaway. You come across a person with multiple degrees, that's a pretty big sign that they're in deep student loan debt. That's a pretty good chance. Put it this way, if they have multiple degrees and they're making multiple degrees and they're financing their cell phone, it's a pretty good chance they're in deep student loan debt. Pretty good chance. All right, we're about to wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Much appreciated. Like I always keep telling you, it's only a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. A matter of time. For SMD is worldwide. SMD will be worldwide. Believe that. It really already is because YouTube is worldwide. It's just a matter of time. And capitalism's everywhere. The same thing I do here, I could do in the UK. Same thing. Why? Because it's capitalist there too. Any country that's capitalist, psychological capitalism exists there too. All right, you guys have a good evening. Oh, it's still morning. They ain't even 12 o'clock yet. Holy crap. I got up. I did an early one today, didn't I? All right. You guys have a wonderful day. Later.